Hello and welcome to this set of tutorials for isometric drawing. Before we get started, we're going to have a quick little look at some of the things that we're going to need. Obviously we're going to need some isometric grid paper. We're going to need some squared paper. It can either be nice large squares like this or small squares, doesn't matter either way. And we're also going to need some plain paper. On top of that, you might want some paper clips. Probably want an eraser. You're going to want your fine line pen. You're going to want a nice pencil, and we'll talk about that more in a second. And you're going to want a standard pencil sharpener. And I do mean a standard pencil sharpener, that's important. Now, before we get cracking, what I would really like you to do is find some nice pencils and try them out and try and find one that feels nice. The other thing I'd like you to do, it's very simple. I'd like you to have a go at drawing a straight line continuously from one side of the page to the other. So you can start at the top. This is a really good way of warming up before we start drawing, and also forces us to do some line control. Most of the time when you draw and sketch, maybe in art, you will flick the pencil with just your fingers and maybe your wrist, and that will give you a limited amount of time that you can draw a straight line for before you run out of movement in your wrist and fingers. So what we want to do is we actually want to move our shoulder and our elbow, so we're actually swinging our whole arm, and this enables us to draw a really long straight line. Now you might need to angle your paper to line that up nicely. So you can see here I'm going to go all the way across. I generally tend to drag my finger across the page as I do this. This gives me some stability as well. And what you want to do is you want to draw about 12 lines, and you want to get them as close together as you can and as straight as you can. So trying to make these lines nice and straight and parallel. Something else that we're going to be doing is, whilst we're drawing, we don't want to draw big, thick, heavy, pushing hard lines. We want to be drawing with very light lines. In fact, the lines I'm drawing on the page at the moment are quite light, but they're not very light. I would actually be aiming for something like this. Something very light as possible. So go ahead, select the pencil that you want to use for this activity and draw yourself 12 lines and have a go at drawing some draft lines, some very nice light lines. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.